There's a condition that over 90% of adults have dealt with at some point, 9 out of 10. It's so common, it's basically universal, and yet most people barely think about it until it's causing them real pain or real money. What is it? Tooth decay, cavities. And the reason almost everyone gets blindsided by it is the same reason almost nobody takes it seriously early. Today, I'm going to explain why this is so absurdly common, why ignoring it is a trap, and how to put yourself in the small group of people who actually stay ahead of it. Let's get into it. Let me hit you with the real number first. Tooth decay is the single most common chronic condition out there, more common than basically anything else we worry about, and the vast majority of adults have had at least one cavity. It's also the most common chronic disease in children. So this isn't a rare problem for people who don't take care of themselves. It's nearly everyone. The interesting question isn't who gets cavities, it's why is something this preventable, this universal? Stick around because the answer is mostly about one sneaky thing. It's silent. So why is decay so ridiculously widespread? It comes down to a perfect storm we're all living in. 1, our mouths are naturally full of bacteria. That part's unavoidable. 2, modern diets are loaded with sugar and refined carbs, the exact fuel those bacteria turn into enamel-dissolving acid. And we snack constantly, which means near constant acid attacks. 3, most people's cleaning routine has gaps, skipped flossing, rushed brushing, missed spots. And 4, the early damage is completely invisible and painless, so there's no alarm telling you to act. Put those together and you get a condition that quietly affects almost everyone. We've basically engineered the ideal environment for cavities, and then act surprised when we get them. Here's the trap, and it's the whole reason people ignore it. A cavity gives you zero warning in its early and even middle stages. Enamel has no nerves, so as decay eats through it, you feel absolutely nothing. No pain, no sensitivity, nothing. So your brain logically concludes, my teeth feel fine, so they must be fine. But feels fine and is fine are completely different things in your mouth. By the time a cavity actually hurts, the decay has usually reached deep into the tooth, near the nerve, which means it's gone from a quick, cheap filling to a root canal or an extraction. The silence is exactly what lets a small problem grow into a huge one. People aren't lazy, they're just trusting a warning system that doesn't turn on until it's too late.
Let's talk about why ignoring it is such a bad deal in plain terms. Catch decay at the early white spot stage and the fix is basically free. Fluoride and better habits can reverse it. Catch it as a small cavity and it's a quick, inexpensive filling. Let it reach the nerve and now you're looking at a root canal plus a crown. Expensive, time-consuming, and not fun. Ignore it past that and you lose the tooth. And replacing a tooth with an implant or bridge is the most expensive option of all. Every stage you wait multiplies the cost and the hassle. Decay is one of the few problems where doing nothing is guaranteed to make it worse and pricier, never better. There's no wait and see that ends well.
And quick bonus, because it deserves a mention, decay isn't the only silent epidemic in your mouth. Gum disease is the other one. Nearly half of adults over 30 have some form of it, and it's also painless until it's advanced. The earliest sign is gums that bleed when you brush or floss, which most people wave off as normal. It is not normal. Between cavities and gum disease, the two most common dental problems are both silent, both nearly universal, and both massively preventable. Noticing a theme? The thing that makes them dangerous is exactly that they don't announce themselves. So, how do you put yourself in the small group of people who actually stay ahead of this? It's honestly not complicated. 1, brush twice a day with fluoride toothpaste and spit. Don't rinse. 2, floss daily, because most decay hides between teeth where you can't see or feel it. 3, and this is the big one people skip, see your dentist every 6 months, because a professional can spot and x-ray the silent early stages and fix them while they're still cheap and painless. 4, cut down on how often you're eating sugar. Frequency matters more than amount. That's the entire playbook. The people with great teeth aren't genetically blessed, mostly. They're just the ones who don't wait for pain to take action. If there's one mindset shift to take from this whole video, it's this. Stop using pain as your signal to act on your teeth. In most of your body, pain is a decent early warning. In your mouth, pain is a late warning. It means the problem is already advanced. The whole point of checkups and daily care is to catch and stop problems during the long, silent window before they'd ever hurt. Treat no pain as keep up the maintenance, not as everything's definitely fine. That single reframe is what separates the people who keep their teeth from the people who keep losing them. Even though decay is nearly universal, it doesn't hit everyone equally, and knowing where you fall helps you adjust. People with dry mouth are at much higher risk because saliva is your natural acid neutralizer and mineral repair system. So anyone on medications that dry the mouth, with certain health conditions, or who breathes through their mouth needs to be extra proactive. Frequent snackers and all-day sippers are high risk because it's the frequency of acid attacks that does the damage, not just the total sugar. Kids and older adults are both vulnerable. Kids because of their newer enamel and sugary habits, older adults because of receding gums exposing softer root surfaces, dry mouth from medications, and sometimes less dexterity for thorough cleaning. People with deep grooves in their molars or crowded, hard-to-clean teeth get more decay simply because there are more hiding spots, and those of us who carry more of the aggressive acid-producing bacteria are fighting a tougher battle by default. If several of these describe you, it doesn't mean you're doomed. It means the standard advice may not be enough on its own, and things like prescription-strength fluoride, sealants, treating dry mouth, and more frequent checkups become genuinely worth it. Knowing your higher risk is power, because you can compensate instead of getting repeatedly surprised.
Let me put the just ignore it approach in concrete terms, because the math is brutal, and it's the same trap with both decay and gum disease. By the time it hurts, the cheap window is already closed. A cavity caught at the chalky white spot stage can often be reversed with fluoride and better habits, essentially free. Caught as a small cavity, it's a quick, relatively inexpensive filling. Let it reach the nerve, and now you're looking at a root canal plus a crown, a far bigger expense and several appointments. Ignore it past that and you lose the tooth entirely, and replacing a missing tooth with an implant or bridge is the most expensive option of all. Plus, a missing tooth lets the neighboring teeth drift and changes your bite, which can cascade into more problems. The exact same escalator runs with gum disease, a cheap routine cleaning early versus deep cleanings, gum treatment, and tooth loss later. So I'll deal with it when it bothers me isn't saving money, it's volunteering to pay several times more in money, time, and discomfort for a problem that was cheapest and easiest at the silent stage you ignored. There's genuinely no version of waiting that comes out ahead. That's the whole argument for showing up before anything hurts.
Since the whole message here is, don't wait for pain, let me demystify the 6-month checkup so it feels less like a mystery and more like routine maintenance. A typical visit has 2 parts. First, the hygienist cleans your teeth, scaling off the hardened tartar that brushing can't remove, especially along the gum line. Then polishing and often checking your gum health by measuring the little pockets around your teeth, because deeper pockets are an early gum disease signal. Second, the dentist examines everything, looking for those early white or dark spots, checking existing fillings, feeling for soft, decayed areas with that little explorer tool, and screening your gums, tongue, and soft tissues, including a quick look for anything that doesn't belong. And periodically, they'll take x-rays, which aren't an upsell. They're the only way to see decay hiding between teeth and below the gum line where it's completely invisible to the naked eye, exactly where so many silent cavities start. The entire point of all this is to catch problems in that painless early window when the fix is cheap and simple, a little fluoride, a small filling, instead of a root canal later. Twice a year, an hour or so, and it's the single highest leverage thing you can do to stay in the small group of people who don't get blindsided.
If you take one thing from this, make it the mindset shift, because it's what separates the people who keep their teeth from the people who keep losing them. Stop using pain as your signal to act on your teeth. In most of your body, pain is a reasonable early warning. In your mouth, pain is a late warning. It means the problem is already advanced and the cheap, easy window has closed. The entire purpose of daily care and 6-month checkups is to catch and stop problems during that long, silent stretch before anything would ever hurt. So treat no pain as keep up the maintenance, never as everything's definitely fine. Over 90% of adults got blindsided by decay because they trusted a warning system that turns on too late. Now you won't.
So yeah, over 90% of adults have dealt with tooth decay. Not because it's unbeatable, but because it's silent, and we wait for pain that comes way too late. Now you know better. Don't trust it feels fine. Trust your routine and your 6-month checkups. Be honest in the comments. When's the last time you actually saw a dentist? No judgment, just maybe go book one. If this was a useful wake-up call, watch my breakdown of how a cavity forms step by step so you can see exactly what's happening in that silent stage. Hit subscribe and I'll see you next time.